This conference will now be recorded.
1 second. Right.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we're picking up, Robin, I'm not sure what page you're on over there, but sometime after about 5:30 or something like that. Okay, in Safaria, it is 5597, and we are discussing the different ways of convincing that the Yetzer Hara sometimes uses to try to get us to turn back in our service to Hashem. It's a Shar Yichud, Maisa chapter 5, 5 and 97 there in Safaria, and I particularly really connected to this one today because it also teaches us how we have to look at other people and not look at in a way that is critical or Just give me 1 second. Try to get Robin on serve over here. Oh no, this is the wrong one. Oh no! It is right. It's the right one. It's the right one. It's the right one.
There's like 2 volumes.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Good. Bottom paragraph. Okay. The kasher yityaesh, when he'll give up on trying to convince you, right? Last time we dealt with the whole idea of bechira, of our free will and God's knowledge, and him trying to use that to deter us. So when he was mityaesh, when he will give up mipatotcha, from misleading you, me'apanim e'el shezachanu, from the different manners that we mentioned, mishadel b'zeh mitzad hagaut v'hagaon u'miyot ha'anava. Then the attempt he'll make is to try to make you feel geut, arrogant, gaon, lofty, haughty, and not having any humility. V'yomar, and he'll say to you as follows, and this is what we started last time until Kathy set me straight that we were in the wrong place. Okay. Kvar higata elamalot hagdolot. You've already reached such a high madriga, such a high level. You're amazing. You know, the earlier righteous people, that tzaddikim, they reached a level, you've reached that level, in the faith that's in your heart, and your acts that are so full and rich and complete, and serving God. You're a one time in a generation kind of guy or kind of gal. And therefore, you've got to get other people in line. You've got to show your muster. You got to show who you are. You've got to point out what they're doing wrong. Everyone should be like you. How can you get them to be like you? By pointing out the things they're doing wrong. The Tizkaro is saying, you got to call them out when they do something wrong. And to make known the evil that's in their hearts. You might even have to embarrass them, humiliate them, put them down. Right? How else are you going to wake them up out of their stupor? You got to rebuke them in all this. Until they'll feel so ashamed. And then, and only then, will they do teshuvah, will they return to God, to the Creator. And you will be the man who will do that, v'yitchartu, because of all of that you'll heap onto them. They will regret al ma shekadam lahem, on what they did in the past. You've got to act, right? We have a precedent for this. We have the template for this. You've got to act in the manner of the Nevi'im, the prophets. As it says, Ata ben Adam, Hashem says, you, son of man, Haged et Beit Yisroel. You've got to talk, and talk tough to the people of Israel. Et habayit v'yichalmu. And that way they will be ashamed, me'avonoteim, from their sins, That's what you got to do. You got to give it to them. You got to become the Yecheskel Hanavi of our generation and point out what they're doing wrong and rebuke them and take them to task. And that way they'll straighten out. That's the role that you've got to play. Im tashiv alav bazeh. And then and if you will ask, if you will respond to him and say to him, v'tomer eich ema'es v'achlim, how can I despise and disparage mi she'eineni yodea inyanei livavo umatzpano el Elokim? I don't know where the person's heart is with God. I don't know what the person's feelings are. Right? How am I supposed to judge someone else? A Navi can know. Me? Right? I might look at someone and say, "Oh, it's terrible," and inside their heart, they might be the biggest tzaddiket. They might be doing things. They might be so close to Hashem. Who am I to judge that? A good like one of my closest friends. So he teaches at a girls high school in New York, a yeshiva high school for girls in New York, and the principal said to him, I need you to be stricter in terms of your grading, right? And I need the grades for davening, right? How are the girls davening? And he said,
How do you know?
they're not davening to me. How am I supposed to know how well they're davening? And he refused to grade anyone on davening. How could I grade someone on davening? Right? If they're davening to me, maybe. Hey, can't pull up a seat. Right? If they're davening to me, maybe. They're not davening to me, then what am I supposed to do? Yeah. So over here, right? How can I despise or disparage anyone about their service to God if I don't know the yachas, the relationship of their hearts, umatzpano, and their conscience, what's going on inside to God? I'm sorry, skipped. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with his heart. Umatzpano lelokim, and the conscience inside. Vimhu benire mimenu nimas, and even though, right, it might appear that he's acting in a lowly manner, who's to say that what's going on inside, right, is reflected by what we see on the outside? You want to say that, hey, you should become like the prophets. And what did the Nevi'im do? They rebuked and they spoke harshly to the people of their generation. Yeah, they were Nevi'im, they were prophets, meaning Asu Birashut Habore. God told them to do it. If God would tell me to do it, fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and do it, right? But short of that, Shahaya Mashkif Alivavam, God who knows what's going on in their hearts, Veroa Matzponam, and the bad that was in their thoughts. God can tell a Navi to go ahead and give rebuke, because that way you know that it's being directed correctly, and God would only tell me to do it if it'll be beneficial. Aval ein b'koach chachmati, but I don't have the wisdom, the dati, or the knowledge, ladat, to know ma sheyesh bilvavot hamatzponim, what's going on in someone's heart and their conscience. V'shema matzpon hanim'as be'enai, tov migiluyu harbe. Maybe someone that I'm looking at this person and I'm disparaging this person, I think this person is not acting correctly. Maybe what's inside is a lot better than what the person is showing on the outside. Who am I to know? Who am I to judge? Veineni yodeyabo, and I don't know what's really going on with that person. Hulai matzpono tov mishali etzelabore. Maybe what's going on inside that person's mind and heart is a lot better than what's going on inside my mind and my heart in the eyes of God, right? So therefore, this pathway of you become the rebuker, right? You become the castigator. That is not a path to take. Vimhu bin ehura, and furthermore, even if on the outside the person does not seem to be doing things properly, seems to be bad, efsher shagarmo lo zeh sichluto. Maybe that's because the person doesn't know. B'mashu chayav lebore. The person does not know what one's obligations are to the Creator, right? You don't know what type of education that person got. You don't know what type of environment that person was brought up in, that person absorbed. V'yesh lo tana yoter mimeni, and he might have a better claim, a better justification for what he's doing than you've got, than I've got. I know so much more than that person. And therefore, if I know so much more, then I need to be doing that much more. So maybe when we look at the relationship of what that person knows and what that person does compared to what I know and what I do, right? It's not a numbers game, right? It's how much, call it a percentage game, right? I know this much, what percent am I doing? He knows that much, what percent is he doing? And therefore, he might be doing a lot less than me, but much more aligned with what he knows and understands than me, who's doing that much more. I know so much more than him. God only expects from a person that which a person knows. You know, in Judaism and in halacha, we have a concept of a tinok shenishba, literally an infant that was taken captive, right, and being brought up by non-Jews. So what can be expected from such a person? Well, the many poskim expand that in our generation to not just being captured and brought up, but what education the person gets. Or even if the person got a good education, maybe they were experiences the person had with teachers who were not acting properly, right? And that has soured them. That has given them these challenges. So we don't know this. We never know. Vani and it could be Vani Yota Roy Shayanim Mimenu. Maybe I am deserving of more rebuke than that person. Yitron Kitsuri, because I'm doing less b'mashni chayavo because I'm acting in a diminished way based on what I know in terms of serving Hashem. Imdati oto, with all that I know. And that's a greater lacking al kitsuro, on that which that person is lacking, im sichlutovo, because that person does not have the knowledge, did not have the background, did not have the education. He's going against the commands of God with lack of knowledge and unintentionally. And I'm doing it knowingly and deliberately. So this is great. So when you start to feel better about someone else, realize that person just very well might be better than you, right? In the eyes of God, this person who might be doing less than you, right, might be considered even greater and even higher in God's eyes. There's a Gemara that we did recently in Lunch and Learn, and that is the Gemara tells of a near-death experience, that a person died and then he was revived, right? In our days, it happens fairly often, right? With CPR and when you do the
Shocking.
the shock, what's that called?
Electric
cardio resuscitation.
something.
Yeah, but the machine that we have is something called, I forgot what it's called. Yeah.
Cardio version or
Yeah,
resuscitation.
yeah, right. So, right, but in the time of the Talmud, it was not all that often. So the Gemara tells a story of one of the sons of one of the great sages that happened, and his father asked him, "What did you see when you were there?" And he said, "Olam hafuch ra'iti." I saw an upside down world. The Elyon and the people up high, the people of high esteem were of low esteem. And Tachtonim Elyon, the people of low esteem, were held high. And his father said to him, you didn't see an Olam Hafuch. You didn't see an upside down world. Olam Barur Ra'ita. You saw a clear, he was really good, Ron. You saw a clear world. So what does this mean? So Rashi explains over there that he saw the people here, the rich, powerful people who are held in such high esteem over here, and they're low over there. And the people who are often dismissed and poor and non-powerful, who are not respected here, were held in high esteem. And his father said, you saw a clear world. But that's how Rashi learns. Rav Moshe Feinstein asks on that, but if that, in the world to come, why would he call a wealthy, powerful person a high person? There, that's not the measurement. In this world, we can use the measurement of how much wealth, how much power, false measurements of wealth and power. But why would he say that over there? So rather, he explains like exactly what the Chosavav is saying over here. He saw people who had done more, kept more mitzvot, learned more Torah, people who were truly elevated, and they were at a lower level than people who had done less mitzvot and studied less Torah. So it truly was an upside down world. But then we need to understand, what was his father's response? Olam Barur, you saw a clear world. What was clear about it? Because at this point of the Chavos Vavos, he explains. Because those might have been doing less, but they had the capacity to do so much less. So what percent of their capacity were they doing? And those who did more, so therefore they were so respected and revered, well, what percentage of their capacity were they doing? And therefore it was an Olam Barur. You take away, we knock out the stand that certain people start off on and just look at what is the growth. What is the growth, the transformation of that person from where they started to where they got to?
Like the baby that was.
I'm sorry?
Like the
Tinoch
infants,
Shanishpan. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be really high after a lifetime.
It was interesting. Years ago, we had the daughter who we knew very well and the son-in-law of friends of ours from back in New York. And he had always grown up in a very, 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 very religious neighborhood, environment, schools, peers. He never was really out of the bubble, right? And then he came to Irvine for Shabbos, and he came to Beth Jacob, and he's like, "Wow, what is this?" Poor guy was having some issues, and on the way back home from shul, he was trying to wrap his head around it, and he said to me, Rabbi, just tell me, how many people have you made Shomer Shabbos? So I said to him, first of all, no one makes anyone Shomer Shabbos. People can decide to become Shomer Shabbos. No one makes anyone Shomer Shabbos. And I said, before I answer that question, let me ask you a question. How many people do you know who have gone through a change in their life similar to going from not keeping Shabbos to keeping Shabbos? How many people do you know who have taken such a step in their Judaism, similar to a person going from non-Shomer Shabbos to Shomer Shabbos? And he thought and he said, I don't think anyone. I said, fair enough. Now I can answer your question. Right? And that's exactly what the Chosavos is saying over here. Right? What Hashem looks for is, what is the movement I've made from step A to step B. And everyone has a different step A. So it doesn't matter where one step B happens to be. What matters is what was the movement that got them there. And that's all that's measured. And therefore, the Chosavava says, don't look at someone and say, oh, look at that person. I'm doing it. Right? And then we'll see more than that. The Efshar, and furthermore, it's possible, Shirato Nirevenigle, who knows? It's possible that what that person is doing wrong, that is visible, that is revealed, that's to be seen. The tovato, but all the incredible good the person is doing, tsafuna, is hidden away, nisteret, and it's not, and it's concealed. So you might see the bad they're doing, you have no idea about the good they're doing. We spoke a couple weeks about Yisroel, the holy miser, right? Who on the outside was not helping, but was actually keeping the whole town afloat financially. And I'm the opposite, right? It could be that all my good I show on the outside, and all my rottenness that I hide away from all my congregants over here. So no one gets to see that, right? Who's to say? Who knows? The kaparato, and therefore he's deserving of God's compassion and atonement. Yoter mimeni, more than I. Uschut achat mimenu, and one merit of his, shokelet zechuyot rabo mishali, is worth many, many of my merits. Why? When he does something good, no one knows about it besides God. And therefore the good that person does, that is good, that is relegated, directed for God. And therefore he's not getting any praise. He's not getting any honor because of it. But me, I'm the opposite. Because what I show, what I project is a lot greater than that person, right? Therefore, what happens? I get praised, I get honor. So I'm getting part of my reward right over here. For him, it's this pristine act. For me, it's who's watching? What are they going to say now? This person will say nice things about me. This person will give me honor. And so too when it comes to the wrongdoings. One mistake, one misstep, one sin of mine, shokelet averot rabot mishalo, is worth many of his averot. Why? My averot, it's covered over, it's concealed. I don't get embarrassed by it. No one says anything. No one thinks askance about me. But the things that he does wrong, everyone knows, everyone sees. And the embarrassment, the condemnation that he gets from other people on it, he gets part of his onesh, part of his culpability right here in this world, right? People are degrading him. They're throwing things at him. But the reward for my actions, they get diminished because of the fact that I do something good. Everyone praises me. Oh, Ciner's a good guy. Ciner's this, Ciner's that. So I'm getting paid over here already. He's got full reward for his actions in the world to come. And his and the repercussions of his misdoings, right, are diminished by what he experiences in this world. Because of people who are degrading him, condemning him. Where for me it's the opposite. Onesh averati l'olam haba. The schar for my good deeds are already getting paid here in this world. And since no one knows the bad that I'm doing, that's all full-fledged in the world to come. So you have no idea who and what another person really, really is. The ode. And one last point. Hishadridli bi lifgod mumei b'nei adam. If I'm going to take my limited headspace, my limited focus, and it's going to be on what can I find wrong in what other people are doing, if that's going to be my tir de libi, that's going to be the work of my heart, lifgod, to account for mume b'nei adam, the blemishes of other people, ula ayin, and to look into midotam ra'ot, the things that they're doing that are bad, yimna'eni zem me'ayan bechesroni. So therefore, I'm going to be very busy looking at everyone else, finding their faults, as opposed to looking in the mirror and seeing my own faults. Ume'amod al mumei atzmi, and from clarifying my own blemishes. Shu yoter tzarechli, and that's more, and I need that. I need to find my own lackings to work on that. That's a lot more important than finding other people's lackings. Vani chayav bo yoter. I need that more. I'm more obligated to find that out. Kmo achole. Right? Imagine a sick person. Asher yatri duhu madvehu mifkod madve b'nei adam. Right? A sick person, he can't be spending his time on trying to make other people feel better. Right? He himself is sick. What does he have to do? Right? Ufrot atzmo, ufrot zulato. He needs to focus on his own healing, and then he can heal others. Right? That's what on the airplane. Right? What do they say when they're giving the safety instructions? First, put your own gas mask on. Right? Get the oxygen on you first, and then take care of your children, those around you, right? They can't help themselves. If you don't help yourself, you won't be in a position to help them. So therefore, first your own oxygen mask. Az yishaber hayetzer v'yinagef lefanecha, right? And then that's a way to break this incitement, this convincing the Yetzer was trying to give you, that focus on, right? You become the Yecheskel Hanavi, Ezekiel the prophet of your generation. No. You become the person who sees positive in others, who sees the good in others, who judges others in a positive manner, right? And the pasuk says you can't judge, right? You can't judge someone until you have omed bimkamo, until you've stood in his place. The only one who can judge someone is the one that knows everything about that other person. And that is not me or any of us. That is the master of the universe. That is the Almighty. That's the only one. Now, this does not mean that, let's say as a parent, I might say, oh gosh, this kid is really, really going to have a bad influence on my child. I really don't want my child hanging out with this person. That's something that a person is obligated, a parent is obligated to do, or even as individuals, as adults, right? Is this person, is my relationship with this person something that lifts me up or brings me down, right? I have to make that calculation because I need to protect my children. I need to protect myself. Right? We have a limited amount of interactions that we have. I want them to be positive, uplifting interactions, not negative, degrading interactions. But I'm not judging the person. I'm judging the interactions. The interactions are not beneficial for me, are not beneficial for my kids. that person, how does God judge that person? God judges that person. I'm not saying this person is this person is that, right? I'm saying that for me, it's not a healthy connection. For my children, it's not an influence that I want to have. Who, who and what and where is that person in the eyes of God? Only God knows. And it could very well be the famous story of the Chafetz Chaim, that he went to an inn, right, and was having a meal there. And this bear of a guy walks in, right, and he's like flirting with the waitresses, and he's yelling at the waiters. This guy's an animal. This guy's a bear and is an animal, a Jewish guy. The Chafetz Chaim was going to go over to talk to him, and someone said to him, Rebbe, Chafetz Chaim was all probably about 4'10". 4'11". He was not a man of great physical stature. Said, Rebbe, don't go over. Right? He's from the Canonistim. The Canonists in Tsarist Russia, they would take Jewish kids. They would kidnap Jewish kids when they were 7, 8, 9 years old. And then for the next 25 years, they'd be trained in the Tsar's army, fighting in the Tsar's army. Right? And therefore they had no Jewish education, and it was a dog-eat-dog world over there, right? And said, that's what he went through. Chafetz Chaim says, thank you. And with that bit of knowledge, he walks over to the fellow, and he says, is it true what I heard about you? And the guy's not used to rabbis saying, what do you hear about me? Right? Is it true what I heard about you? That for 25 years you were in the Tsar's army and you didn't turn your back on Judaism, and you tried your best to only eat kosher food, and you stayed a Jew through that? Wow, that's incredible. And the guy broke down crying. No one else had ever viewed him in that way. And as the story goes, he became an avid follower and disciple of the Chafetz Chaim. Why? Because he didn't look at the outside. He said, I can't judge this person. I don't know what's going on inside. And he found the positive, and that's what he looked at. And it's very well, when I was teaching in yeshiva in Israel. So I was teaching in yeshiva for boys, and it wasn't the most motivated of boys. It was boys who their high school experiences did not leave them with a love of learning, a love of Judaism. And many of them, came to the yeshiva, as they put it, to give God one last chance, right? So my brother Joshua was visiting. So I call everyone Tzaddik. Hey, Tzaddik, how you doing? Hey, Tzaddik, how you doing? So my brother said to me, okay, you're doing great work here. But Tzaddik, I mean, are you getting a little carried away with, with your Tzaddik?
You're trying to think good.
So I said to him, I said to my brother, I said, with what some of these guys experience in high school, if they'll put on, at this point in the year, if they're putting on their tefillin once a week, that's a lot greater than me wearing my tefillin every day of the week. Me, I look forward to it. Me, it's a privilege. It's a gift. It's an honor. It's a mitzvah. For them, right, there can be so much baggage that goes along with it, right? So we can never know where someone else is at. Halavai, if only we know where we are at. And all of that, thinking about and examining and watching of someone else would be far better suited if we spend that time introspecting, looking at ourselves, holding ourselves accountable, and seeing what we can do better. Okay, this is a good one, no? I love this one. And if his arrows won't take hold in that we just mentioned, Yarobotcha be'itot hatzlachatcha u'b'tzar lecha. He'll point his arrows at you to try to dissuade you, right? At the times of itot hatzlachatcha, at the times that things are going really well, u'v'tzar lecha, and during the times that tsar lecha, times that you're having a rough go, tough spells, right? You know, some people say, why do good things happen to bad people? Why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? Guess what? Good things happen to good people and to bad people. Bad things happen to bad people and to good people, right? And welcome to humanity, right? Nice to meet you. You must be a human being. So you have some good, they have some bad. You do some good, you do some bad. You have some good, you have some bad. And that is the nature of life. And if you think that a God orchestrated world is going to be Shangri-La, so if that's your view, so I advise you to open up the God book. What is the God book? The God book is the best seller of all time. Open up the Bible and tell me, does it speak of Shangri-La or not? And let's open it up. They're in the Garden of Eden. Eat this, don't eat that. They do eat that. They're out of the garden eating. One brother kills another brother. Noah has a flood. Avram has a famine. I mean, it's not that there are wars going on, 4 kings against 5 kings, right? It's the world, the God world, according to the God book, is not meant to be Shangri-La. It's meant to be a an obstacle course. It's meant to be a weight room, right? And in a weight room, what happens? We take latent abilities of strength and we turn it into real strength, right? The Ramban says so beautifully, Nisayon, a test from God. It's not for God to know. It's for us to actualize. It's not a matter of will the person, won't the person. God knows what we can, what we can't, what we will and what we won't. But the mission is for the person to actualize, to take a latent strength and now be forced with a challenge and to turn that latent strength into an action, to actualize it into something that I did or didn't do, right? Depending on what that temptation might be. And that's what it's about. So asking why do bad things happen to good people is almost like asking, why are there weights in a weight room? It'd be so much easier to lift the bar. Don't put any weights on the bar, right? And just have it made out of, styrofoam. And then I could do so many lifts, right? Why are there weights in a weight room? Because you go to a weight room in order to take potential strength and turn it into actual strength. Why are there obstacles on an obstacle course? I can make it around so much faster if there wouldn't be the ladder and the wall and the tires and the bars. I can make it around in a quarter of the time. Well, it's there to take those latent abilities and to make you stronger. And life's challenges are there to take your latent abilities and to transform you. Ultimately, what do we take into the next stage of our existence after this world? We take whatever we have made ourselves into. And what changes us, what transforms us? Challenges that we overcome. We don't look for the challenges, we don't bring them upon ourselves. God does that. He's our personal trainer, so to speak, and he arranges what we need in order to become strengthened. So therefore, everyone, good people have good, right, and bad. Bad people have good and bad. And welcome to humanity. Nice to meet you. You must be a human being. I've got good and bad, and I am good and bad, and I have good and bad coming at me in my life, and that is the humanity. However, right, he will shoot his arrows at us. Right, at the times of good, he'll say, "Hey, right, things are going good, so put all your effort into that." When things are going bad, so why are you bothering with your serving Hashem? Right? Look, those people have it all good. Why are you wasting your time on that? What good is it giving to you? That we will see next time we study, my friends. Okay? So where are we in Safaria? On
Page 530 on this one.
okay, your page
532, like
532.
first, we just did.
Perfect. Okay. And Safaria, where are we, my friends?
55105.
55105.
Mhm.
And Al Daf Mem Zayin V'im Lo Yigiacha. Okay, good. Nice having a full screen and two people in person. This is great. Okay, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you, Rabbi. See you guys
Shavua
later.
Tov, everybody. Don't make it. We have Parsha and
Thank
Pesach
you.
tomorrow
Thank you,
morning,
Rabbi.
9:30.
Hi, Kathy.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you,
Bye.
Rabbi.
Brian.
How is Trudy doing? Ooh,
You lost Steve.
I lost Steve. Yeah, no, his wife's Aaron just passed away.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we will 2 weeks time, please God. Bez Hashem.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
So do we not have class next week?
Next Monday night.